Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Glenn, Angel, FD, and Shaun. And our guest for today is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Morning. Can you hear me just fine now?
Oh, you sound perfect.
You sound like you're right
Yay!
next to us. Good morning, Dr. Jerry.
Jerry, we are talking about psychopaths
And
this morning.
sociopaths.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And sociopaths.
We're talking about our kids.
No, but I just found that it's such a weird world that we are living in. And I know a lot of people love to watch like Criminal Minds, all the sort of forensic psychology. And I kind of put off doing this topic just because it is it belongs more to the forensic psychology, but many people were asking. And also, I think if we look around, sometimes we look at behaviors and wonder, I never realized this about this person. When we are betrayed or disappointed by a person, and we say we never knew that this person was like that at all. We had no clue. Which is very similar to, when we watch criminal investigation and they say this serial killer has been going around for 13 over years, having killing don't know how many women, or people like Ted Bundy, or
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah.
Charles
And
Manson
you suddenly
and all that,
get you get a shock and you go, oh my gosh, he is so close to me, or she is so close to me, and I never knew that. So
Adrian Lim. Remember Adrian Lim here in
Adrian
Singapore?
Lim as well,
yes,
My mom used to stay next to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So my brother and my
then
sister
she knew?
played at the same playground where he found the kids.
Oh.
Oh,
right.
no.
He's my brother and sister are like that nobody wants to like even kidnap them.
Sean.
Really? They'll play.
Good thing you didn't come along then, because he would have
Not my
wanted
time,
you. Yeah.
He would. Oh, definitely took me. I will go.
You were the cutest.
You got something for me? Anyway.
No, but did you know Shaun? Did your mom realize what he was doing?
Only until the news came out, I
right.
think. This was very long. 80s?
It was the 80s.
It was the 80s, yeah.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. How did your mom react, though? I mean, having found out that it was a neighbor.
Oh, I think she panicked at the disco. After that, she started like not letting my brother
Kids.
go out so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Not a lot of freedom after that.
There were all kinds of things happening, like in the 80s. Kids were getting kidnapped.
The McDonald's boys, remember
Exactly.
the two boys? Yeah.
Yeah,
McDonald's
people were
boys.
saying they were being shipped out, to other
China
countries
and all that, to
What?
beg
to
and
be
stuff
made
like that.
beggars.
Beggars.
Yeah.
That was the rumors, but they never found them ever.
They never
Which is
found.
quite
They
sad.
never
Sounds like a
found.
new Netflix series.
Yeah.
All kinds in the 80s. Okay, anyway, let's continue to talk to Jerry on The Big Show TV. The time is 8:04.
So, Jerry, if we're talking about psychopaths and sociopaths, a lot of people know what they actually are. Let's try and describe a psychopath and a sociopath.
Well, let's go to antisocial personality disorder first, because psychopath and sociopath are not actually the clinical diagnosis.
Okay.
They are used very widely, yeah. So a lot of people don't know that. They just say you're psycho, you're crazy. But these are not clinical diagnosis. The closest one that clinicians use is antisocial personality disorder. Yeah, so the psychopath and sociopath seem to have a lot of traits that come under the umbrella of the personality disorders. Antisocial personality disorder is the closest one. The other one that people tend to say it falls under is narcissistic personality disorder. Yeah, but I'm more inclined to look at antisocial personality disorder, especially it is quite close to when we describe sociopaths.
Okay.
And yeah, so if we go with sociopaths first, there's this disregard for social norms, the laws. There's the lack of guilt and remorse. So they don't really, the sociopaths tend to have a bit more conscience. So they tend to feel a little twinge of that, I feel a bit bad. A bit. Okay. But it's just so lacking that they will still continue to do whatever that they do. They're a little bit more sociopaths, a little bit more violent. Yeah. There's a lot of lying. There's a lot of gaslighting, with these two sort of, personalities. The sociopaths tends to be a bit more overtly aggressive.
Right.
So not all of this sort of personalities are aggressive personalities. So we hear a lot on the TV or in dramas, okay, in the media about the more violent personalities. But I would say not all of them are like that.
When you say violent, what kind of violence? How violent?
You have your criminals, right? They murder you. They not only murder you, they disembowel you.
Ooh.
They kind of like chop you up.
Jeffrey Dahmer, man. You should watch it.
So he was a sociopath, not a psychopath?
Yeah, so how would you classify Jeffrey Dahmer? I'm not sure if you've seen it or you know of the case.
A serial killer.
I know.
He's definitely a serial killer.
Yeah, so he would be classified under antisocial personality disorder.
That sounds so friendly.
Deviance and everything.
For someone like Jeffrey Dahmer. Can't we just call him a psycho? I mean, there was a movie called Psycho.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, the way you've described it, it almost seems like being a sociopath is worse than being a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because she says it's more
that's what
violent, right?
It's violent. They use more violent methods. But by no means a psychopath is any better. Maybe even worse, because you don't know if the person is just next to you.
Okay. So you're saying that a psychopath is more, it's more obvious. Is that what you're saying? The sociopath sociopath is more obvious.
Sociopath. Okay. That's why it's a bit confusing. Sociopath is more obvious. They break the rules. They're more overt in their behavior.
Okay.
Yeah. So both types they lack empathy, right? But the psychopath is He doesn't have a conscience also, but he can be very charming. Okay? Do something like that. He might take your things, do something to you, and then he would lie about it, won't feel anything about it. So he doesn't have any conscience, as opposed to the sociopath who may have a little bit more of a conscience.
We get it now.
Why is it not recognized clinically?
The DSM-5 has very strict criteria to put them in. So some of these may be a lot more of the they fall in between the cracks, so you can fit them somewhere, somehow, but not a clinical diagnosis. Yeah. So until they expand that a little bit more, or the scientists and researchers expand it a little bit more, we are still constrained by human research.
But clearly there's something wrong with them, right?
Yes.
Does that mean that they don't get the help that they deservedly need?
So for the psychopaths and the sociopaths, it is very difficult for them to come forward. We don't even know if they recognize that they have an issue or not. Yeah, so I mean, the very first step of getting help is knowing that you need help, right? Yeah, and also for the environment to recognize that you need help. But if they are so clever in hiding it, then they won't get the help that they need.
So I'm assuming the only time these people would get help is when they've committed a crime and they get caught. Am I right?
Yeah.
So if they've committed a crime and got caught, and then you try and help them, it would only work if they want that help, correct? Otherwise,
Yes.
they're not going to benefit.
Yes.
So a lot of these people who get caught and go for psychological help, they really don't benefit from it.
And a lot of them are highly intelligent as well, right? I mean, I'm just basing it on a lot of shows that I've watched. They like with Jeffrey Dahmer as well. He could sort of turn off that sociopath side of him when he was being spoken to by, say, a doctor or something like that. You know, where they would assess him and say, you know, he's perfectly fine. He doesn't have any thoughts of killing anyone and stuff like that. So I would think that they're very highly intelligent as well, knowing when to turn it on and not.
Okay, so this is where we explain a bit more about the psychopaths. So the psychopaths are not very easy to recognize. You can't identify them because many of them are highly intelligent, extremely charming, and their EQ is very high. They lack empathy, but they can mimic your empathy.
Oh wow! Okay.
So from the surface, you actually cannot see that they don't recognize.
Good morning, Singapore. We are with Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room, and this morning we're talking about psychopaths and sociopaths. And I think based on what Jerry has been saying, I mean, in our conversation on the Big Show TV, we might have people around us,
psychos,
who are socios or psychos.
Yeah, because Dr. Jerry, you were saying they're quite highly. Yeah, so carry on.
Yeah, socios are a bit more visible. So I think if the sociopaths are there, you would have given them a wide berth already. It's the it's the psychopaths that are more difficult to spot. Yeah, so these are the ones that are intelligent, charming. They can even mimic your responses or your emotions. So there are few. Let me go through a list and see if anyone fits this list for you.
All right. I was about to say many women have fallen victim to psychopaths.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, not only the men can be psychopaths, the women can be psychopaths too. Now, as long as you so I've got a list of 20. As long as you hit like 15 of it, okay? So don't clinically diagnose a person, yeah? Like I say,
we're writing this down, okay?
Yeah.
Oh no, my gosh.
Yes.
Tell us.
So,
Come on.
very charming, superficially charming. Okay, so when you're with the person, they are all there for you. So very charming, huh? They're self-absorbed and egocentric. Everything is about me, my, you know, about them. They're easily bored. They're in need of constant stimulation. Now, sometimes we mistake it as ADHD, but you know, they're like, oh, I'm so bored. I need to do this, I need to do that. You know, I'm very restless. A habitual liar.
Okay, that I don't do.
Lie.
Are you trying to diagnose yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that what we're doing?
You're not.
Not ourselves.
Okay, that's
Okay, habitual liar and then manipulative.
Manipulating people, manipulating situations, manipulating the things around them. Yeah. Showing no remorse, rationalize all the wrongdoings. Okay. And they would say that someone else is at fault. So it's never them. It's always someone else that is at fault. Their emotions, they appear to be so it's an appearance, appear to be empathetic. They have very shallow emotions. So they hardly talk about their emotions. So you realize that. They lack empathy. for another person, for things, for situation. In fact, for, lacking empathy, their physiological self can even respond differently to you and I. So to us, if we see a crisis, our heartbeat gets faster, we get more, excitable. We get super calm. They are like, I'm loving it. I want to see what I can do about it. So it's so it's very interesting how their brain functions also. They would exploit other people, the goodwill of other people, can be sexually promiscuous, impulsive. So that's why you notice some of the signs we can mistake it as ADHD. Behaving a bit recklessly in situations. They don't accept any responsibility for their action. They could have done something, but no. At the end of the day, they tai chi to something, someone, and somewhere else. They may have behavioral problems as a child. They lack inhibitions, maybe no long-term goals, issues with relationship.
You were up to like point number 15 already, is it?
I think so because
17.
17.
Okay,
Oh,
almost there. Yeah.
No respect for authority. So they think that they are bigger than everyone else. They think they are above everyone else. So they have no respect for authority. They think that they are never wrong. And the last one, I think, is a reiteration. No, I didn't say it yet. Highly intelligent, no conscience.
Okay, I've listened to everything that Jerry says, and a couple of things. You keep bringing up intelligence. Intelligence is something we gain with life experience, with education. And yet you brought up childhood problems. Are these conditions something we're born with or something we develop as we grow up?
So that one is a little bit difficult to say because it's classified under a personality disorder. So you can have it inborn, or you hear me say, issues as a child. So some of them have issues as a child. And research has shown that they have attachment issues. So insecure attachment, avoidant attachment, very ambivalent sort of attachment. So their parent is either very abusive, neglectful, or blowing hot and cold, and they never know what to expect. Yeah.
Is there a way for either a sociopath or a psychopath to overcome who they are?
With a lot of work. So they need to first they need to identify it. If they don't identify it and recognize, acknowledge it, that they have an issue, then it's a no-go because they would manipulate the situation. So, because remember, if we tell them you have an issue, they say, I'm above everyone. I'm no wrong. I can do no wrong. Right? If I have a disorder, I am wrong. I am flawed. So they will never want to admit that they have an issue. So that's already a huge, huge hurdle. So until they do something that breaks them and gets them into some major issue, it would be quite difficult to try and get them to go for therapy.
So whose fault is it that these people become psychopaths and sociopaths? Right?
There's no fault. There's no finger pointing.
It's situational.
It could be a variety of reasons, right? So many different reasons. You can't just blame the parent. You can't just blame something. I don't think we can blame anyone.
It's so funny when Sean puts up his hand, we can't see his hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jerry needs to see your hand. Okay, there. Sean wants to say something.
I'm
Yes,
just reading
yes,
off
yes.
a comment of Facebook because we are asking whose fault is it. So Alun is asking, they say people who drink black coffee on a daily basis has higher likelihood to be psychopaths. Is this true, Dr. Jerry?
I'm drinking kopi O right now. Kopi O kosong.
Only Glenn. And
so-
Dr. Jerry.
So we're
see?
psychos, you and I.
Psychos, yeah.
Isn't there a
Okay,
song,
we'll form a
Psycho? Sweet but
support
Psycho?
group.
Sweet but psycho.
Sweet but Psycho.
So these conditions, a psychopath or a sociopath, they are situational. They're not chemical.
So
Hard to
it's
say.
very hard to say because even medication would be quite difficult, to administer. If they have emotional regulation issues, example, the sociopaths, they can be given lithium or something to balance out their moods. If they have like depression or they have anxiety, they can be given those medication, but a specific medication for a psychopath and a sociopath, no. So that compounds the difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think they're all chips off the old block? That's my question.
Oh.
No, actually, you would see. Okay, so I think Angel mentioned you watch a lot of the shows and everything, right? Like the dramas or the shows. You will realize that, yes, there is the parent. When we dig, will have some fault. No one is perfect. But their parents are not psychopaths nor sociopaths. So if you're looking at can psychopaths and sociopaths be hereditary, again, difficult question to answer, but usually we don't see that. We can see other traits that are hereditary, but not quite this particular, labels.
We see a lot of the sociopaths and the psychopaths again on TV, and a lot of them are murderers and stuff like that. Do they all turn out to be criminals?
So those we see on TV definitely are dramatized and glamorized, right? And those are the more extreme cases. We do have criminals that are psychopaths and sociopaths, not as glamorous as the ones that we see on TV. You have experienced, or we have read about those from the tech industry or the finance industry, where they can embezzle and it takes years for them. So if for these psychopaths, they can bide their time. They have time. So they take a long time to create that perfect scenario for themselves. They're intelligent like that. They have foresight. Yeah. But it's ultimately for whatever that they need. But you see, in all these cases, we know the reported ones, so I'll go with the reported ones, right? So some of the reported ones, they have been working in the firm for many, many, many years. And when they are there, the colleagues say they are the most dedicated colleague and the most hardworking.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. And I just want to read what Prashant wrote because I think he really hit the nail on the head for many people who have experienced psychopaths. Psychopaths can drive people crazy by making them question their reality and sanity, known as gaslighting. It may or may not be gaslighting, but yes, gaslighting is one of the methods that they use. It's a severe form of emotional abuse. Over time, those on the receiving end start believing that they are flawed and never good enough. Thank you, Prashant. Exactly what I wanted to say.
But parents do that to their kids all the time.
Oh, dear.
They
No,
gaslight
no.
their kids, right?
Not all the time.
Huh? No?
No.
Are you saying it because...
They shouldn't.
Have you been doing it?
No, no, they don't do it all the time, and if they do, they shouldn't.
All right. But people who
No,
gaslight
no.
are not are not psychos. It's just one of the many traits, right, Jerry?
Yeah, so I mentioned 20 traits. I'm sure there are more. It's only one of them, but it is one that really, at the end of the day, the person on the receiving end start to doubt themselves so much. Yeah.
And that's when they need to see you.
Continue.
It's true.
Well, the perpetrator needs to be therapized, but yes, the traumatized also needs to be therapized.
And that person who goes through that, basically the psychopath is doing that so that person becomes more reliant on them. Am I right?
Exactly, so that they can manipulate.
Yeah.
They manipulate
even
you,
more.
you see. So now I rely
Yeah.
on you. I can't live without you.
Because if you say so, then it must be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I just want to say one of the main reasons we have Dr. Jerry on, every Tuesday is, to raise the awareness that there are people who are suffering in silence.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And so if you
Yes.
need help, please speak to a professional. I'm not even saying go speak to your friends and all that, because they might not be able to dish out proper, advice for you.
Yeah. True.
Right?
Yeah.
If you feel like you're suffering in silence, don't feel like it's a shameful thing to go see a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
And no one should,
seek some help before it gets even worse.
Even worse. And no one should tell you who you should be and what you should do.
Absolutely.
Question has come through on our Facebook page. I don't know whether you caught it. Are social media stalkers a form of psychopaths?
Like trolls.
Like trolls?
Yeah, that one I saw is it would be unfair to throw a blanket on all of them. Yeah, so I would not. Of course, there would be certain characters that have psychopath tendencies, maybe psychopath, but not all of them are.
I mean, we so blatantly sometimes throw around the word "you're a psycho," "you're this and that," but then we use it when someone's like screaming and shouting and like becoming really, uncontrollable and stuff like that. But the stuff that you've described, what a psychopath is the complete opposite of that, because they're calm, they're charming, they make you feel good about yourself. So it's totally not what we're describing as well for someone who's out of control.
Interesting, right? So that's why I thought it would be quite exciting to talk about this topic. And now we're going to look at everyone with eyes wide open.
I've got my list. I'm going to be walking around with this list and ticking it off.
But Jerry, do psychos know they're psychos?
That's
or do
the thing.
socios know they're socios?
don't.
If not, it would be so interesting to
Socios
have our
maybe.
special guest for today,
Our
psychopath so and so.
Our very own resident psychopath. Can we get one? Can we get? Do you have one to spare, Jerry?
Can book on an app.
Book on an app. Oh, dare you.
Psychos are us.
It's not a dating app anymore.
Oh dear. No, we shouldn't laugh. I mean, these are real life problems, and we hope that people can get the help that they need.
I'm sure these sociopaths and psychopaths are suffering in their own way. Can you imagine not being unable to be close to people, or thinking that the world is trying to get at you, or that people are trying to do you in? It's quite a terrible world to live in for that person, and they just want to try and gain a bit more control over their world sometimes, and sometimes when they don't, they claw helplessly, and they claw in desperation, I suppose, doing the things that they do,
And not being able to be close to anyone as well, and making those relationships last.
Yeah, so sociopaths, psychopaths can actually have long-term relationship. It's not that they can have romantic relationship, but it's really the way they want it to, the way they expect it to. So as long as you fall in step with them, all things can be fine. The second you don't, then that's where the cracks occur, or their triggers, and they need to gain back a little bit more control.
Right. So the man who physically and mentally abuses his wife, or his girlfriend, or the girlfriend or wife who mentally abuses and physically abuses her husband or boyfriend, are they considered psychopaths?
They may not. Thank you for asking the question. They may not be sociopaths. Yeah. So they don't go out and break the law. They don't go out and try and harm other people. So it could be other factors at play and not them being a sociopath. It's more than that.
A psychopath. They are psychopaths. Because we've all had friends who are in bad relationships and all that. And sometimes when we sit down and we talk to them, we go like, he's a psycho. Why are you still with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, we tend to generalize the term psycho anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, but if he's abusing his wife physically...
But not all of these partners are charming or self-absorbed or easily bored, you know what I mean? They may just be possessive and insecure.
Yeah. There you go. Possessive.
Is possessive one of the traits that psychopath has? Possessiveness?
It could be. They want control, right? So they want to hold on to something. So it could everything belongs to them. Egocentric. So everything belongs to them. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, because when we talk about psychopaths, right, the first thing that comes to mind, men or women who abuse their spouses, their partners, because it can get really, really violent.
But we're looking at the obvious, and Dr. Jerry said something that is incredible. There could be people out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, who are in a relationship with a psychopath, and they don't even know it, because they are people who just naturally fall in line. So they would never know.
Who never knows?
The partner would never know.
No, I'm talking about the more obvious ones, like when knives come out, they get slapped, bruised and battered the next day. I mean,
Abused.
But you say
But you would need to fall into a pattern also, you see. So you're not wrong in saying that some of them can be sociopaths, where the spouses fall in line into a pattern.
Dr. Jerry, you say that a psychopath does not have any remorse and the person lacks empathy. I feel I know someone like this, and but this person loves animals. So does that person still fall in line with that, or are you talking about lacks empathy for the person that they're doing it to?
So they lack empathy. So, okay, when they show no remorse, they could have done something wrong. But they say, but that person deserves it. It's that person's fault. It doesn't mean that they have no capacity to love. I'm sure they have, right? Okay. So they can love and have many different sort of interests. But, when they approach, so if the cat died, the cat died. But the people around me are crying. I better just keep quiet and mimic their their emotion. So no one can see that they don't feel the same way that other people feel.
Got it.
Right? I'll just go along with everybody's behavior. And because I'm so in tune, I need to be in tune so that I can manipulate you, right? So I'm so in tune that I can mirror. And mind you, I'm intelligent. So you know what? I will mirror. I will show. I'll not only show, I'll show you a little bit more. So that you feel that I'm so there with you. I'm so empathetic. But actually, I don't give a damn. I really don't.
Wow.
Dr. Jerry is quite good at acting, yeah? She made me feel like she was a psychopath.
Psychodrama.
15 seconds.
Good one.
I finished 4 days of psychodrama class, that's why.
Oh, did you really?
Wow.
Psychodrama class, wow.
White Christmas right here on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Are you feeling the Christmas spirit, Jerry?
I feel we need to call him Michael Bauble during Christmas. Michael Bauble.
Michael Bauble?
Bauble, yeah, only at Christmas time.
So you're feeling it, Jerry?
Yep.
Only
Christmas
19 days left.
magic.
Where's your Christmas tree?
I know.
Christmas is her jig.
I don't have a Christmas tree yet, but Christmas is everywhere, and Christmas is magic for me. It always fills the year with magic.
You know what's awesome now? The Christmas tree we have in our lobby.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
going down there and getting the smell of fresh pine.
Oh, is it a real
It is
tree?
a real
Oh, I
tree.
haven't gone down yet.
it's a real
Is
tree.
it? Oh,
It
lovely.
is the biggest
Oh, nice.
tree
Beautiful.
we've ever had.
Beautiful.
Very,
and Dr.
very
Jerry,
nice.
you're in the middle of Orchard Road, so it's Christmas everywhere, isn't it?
It's Christmas everywhere, and I want to give a big shout out to an event that we had yesterday. To all the seniors in Sesco, who gave us such an early Christmas gift of letting us interact with them yesterday.
Oh.
So they are the second elder care center. It's an elder care home that we've gone down and done mental health check in, and they're not scared of us. They didn't say that I'm not crazy. They didn't say that I don't want to do it. So we really had fun. We did some activities with those that are less mobile, who couldn't do the checkup with us. So my team, very, very proud of my team, who went down and interacted with everyone and did the survey. And thank you to the Sesco team who embraced us so warmly yesterday. We were very full by the end of the day, both our tummies and our hearts.
Oh, so lovely. Nicely said.
Cisco reminds me of the Tong song, by the way. Haven't heard that song in a long time. You did say Cisco, didn't you?
You just ruined that. She said Sesco.
Sasco. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always,
Sasco is
always,
different.
Glenn. Yeah, okay.
Sasco did the Bikini Top song. Oh, no, sorry.
Glenn!
All right. Are we still on air?
Yes, we are on air.
I'm
What do
sorry.
you mean still?
Let's continue this conversation on the Big Show TV.
Jerry, I want to get back to our topic today. We've spoken about psychopaths and we've spoken about sociopaths. How do you treat them?
Electroshock therapy.
You send them to prison. What are you talking about?
You cannot.
No,
yes,
they
send
need to
them
be
to prison
helped.
for the crime. I agree. Send them to prison
Yes.
for the crime.
Yes.
But when they're there, they
need help.
They need help.
But they're behind bars. lah.
But
Yes,
they
yes,
need
yes.
help.
Yeah, of course.
How does
Correct.
one treat them?
With a lot of love. With a lot of love. So strange, right?
Yeah.
But they protect themselves so much that they don't allow anyone near them. So imagine like you and I take this much of space. They try to take a lot more space, but actually
protect
inside
themselves.
of them it's this small. Yeah, so the family members, the friends, the community, so getting them out there, getting them to be accepted and belonged somewhere.
We love them, but we love them from a distance, right? Because I'm not getting too close. In case he gives me a rear naked choke and stuff like that.
I'm just listening to you, and if you're treating them with all this love, and have you ever treated a psychopath or a sociopath?
Well, if they come forward, I would definitely
So
love
you
to
haven't
treat them.
Because
So you haven't,
I
okay.
see them as if they need this love, if this love is a treatment, somewhere inside they've got to
There
be
is
very
love.
hollow.
I'm a psychopath. Can I see you today?
Glenn, 2 years on, still
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. Would you see them as somehow, somewhere deep inside, they're
They're
just
very
hollow?
lonely. They're very, very lonely.
Yes, absolutely. Hollow, lonely,
Sad.
unfulfilled, discontent.
Yeah.
So you see, when you look at them that way, you can actually say, these poor people really
and
need
I
help.
do
They really need
pity
help.
people like that. Like whenever again watch these TV shows because that's all we see
Yeah.
on, right? I mean, we don't want to see it in real life. I can't help but feel for them, because
Sure.
it must be a very sad life that they lead.
Yes, it is true. So if they come forward, it's a very, very long journey to recovery, or rather treatment. But also the amount of damage that they have done along the way.
Yeah.
I think, Yeah, and the magnitude of it, because they're so intelligent and capable, the magnitude of it can be horrendous.
But they can't help it, right?
They can choose another path if they want to choose another path. They are intelligent, remember?
But then do they know that what they're doing is wrong? That's the thing.
They don't ever tell themselves that they are wrong.
So they don't know.
So
Yeah.
that-
Could it be
Yeah,
like someone
yeah,
is
they
making
never know
them
that they are
a
wrong.
so-called psychopath? Because I had a friend who was married to this, his ex-wife, and she would always call him a sociopath, a psychopath, and stuff like that. He was really, really unhappy, and I think he was turning into a psychopath, a
Because of
sociopath.
what she was
And then
saying.
after that, right, they divorced, and he went on and he got married, and no, there's
He's
absolutely
happy.
no problem. He's happy. His current wife is happy, and he's no longer a psychopath or a sociopath. So, what's up with that?
Yeah, so
Maybe it was
I
the
mean,
wife.
because his wife
ex-wife.
was bipolar,
Yeah, maybe it was the ex-wife that was a socio or psychopath.
but she was always telling him, "You're a sociopath. You're a psychopath. So you're not to leave my sight." That kind of thing,
Oh.
It's like whoa,
yeah.
and he was
Yeah,
starting to
so-
believe that he was.
Yeah,
There was something wrong with him.
I'm sorry, Jerry, this is very left field, but if someone recognizes someone as a psychopath or a sociopath, remembering that these people can be very manipulative in their own right, can that person manipulate that psychopath or sociopath to their advantage?
So you're saying two psychopaths,
One manipulating the other, yeah.
Oh my
one
gosh.
manipulating. Yes, definitely. It will be quite a spectacle.
Oh my
very
gosh.
interesting to see. Yeah, very interesting to see how they manipulate each other. Yeah,
And then you have
not
kids, and then
getting-
your family is the Addams family, right?
we don't know whether two psychopaths might want to get together. That's the thing.
Okay.
We have with us Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room talking about psychos and socios this morning. Oh,
You're
your
on
mic.
mute.
Oh, your mic's
You're on
gone.
mute.
Sorry, wanted to give you some time. Yeah, and I didn't realize that we were going to have a full hour of psycho and sociopath.
Yeah. But it's been great.
It's been a
great.
very interesting topic.
But we all
for
have
sure.
friends, right, whom we think are psychos.
Yes, 100%.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Or socios.
Yes.
Should we
And,
just
and I've learned
mention
that
their names?
I've learned that
No.
the one person I always thought was a bit of a psychopath
Who?
just isn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Who is she?
I'm not going to
Tell us,
mention.
come
no,
on.
I'm not going to
Guy or
mention
girl?
names.
Do we know?
They're not
Do we
listening.
know this
Guy,
person?
guy.
You ask him enough times, he'll say
Does he
the
work with us?
No.
He's not listening. Is he on your Facebook?
Stop it!
Yeah.
name. Are you following him on Instagram?
Is he married?
Stop it!
Is he married?
Stop it!
How many children does he have?
Stop it!
Does he dance?
What does he
Jerry,
do?
help me!
What color is he
No,
currently
they're so
wearing?
naughty. How do you deal with naughty kids like that, FD? Oh dear.
Bring out the cane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sociopath.
That's his true, authentic self right there.
He always puts himself in this position.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, do I know this person?
No, you don't.
Hey, Glenn.
We'll
You
find
know,
out later. We'll find out.
Stop.
Okay,
You have
okay.
to stop. If not, it's considered bullying. That's what we
Okay,
always
okay.
tell the
Okay.
students.
Christmas,
Okay.
Christmas is
What about
coming.
you, Jerry? Do you know any psychos?
I think I do.
What's her name?
I'm not
Oh, what's his
sharing.
name?
Hi, Glenn.
Glenn.
Okay, all right. What do we need to go now?
Yeah,
this is our
final,
final
words.
words.
Final words, Dr.
Oh, just because it is, December is Christmas. I know Singapore's Christmas is rainy. I want to remind everybody to count the rainbows in your life and not the storms.
Jerry. Oh,
Nice.
Speaking
love
of
that.
rainbows, a couple of days ago, there were rainbows all over Singapore.
Yeah,
Really?
Very nice photos.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful
Went
photos.
viral.
I did
Yeah.
not see anything.
Yeah,
okay.
beautiful photos.
Not even on social media. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jerry.
I'll see all of you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful
Take
day,
care.
Jerry. Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.